you know about that? Brute facts. Brute facts. What you know about that? Brute facts. Man, what you know about that? Is your house with the most, not the most. Come incorrect in your toast. Hey, Eddie, are you ready? I'm steady. It's about to get messy. Ed, what it do, dog? Brute facts. What you know about that? Brute facts. What you know about that?
Welcome to Brute Facts, baby. I got a good show tonight. I mean, it's going to be great. One of my buddies, one who got me started off in this business, along with Ozzy in the chat, running his mouth. If he notices, I gave everybody a wrench but him, and I did that on purpose because I love him. So, without further ado, I even made a special intro for him, and welcome, Pasta Mike.
Man, did it say the sexiest something or another?
Yeah, the sexiest voice in show business. Man, how about that?
I'll take that.
I know that's right, man. That's what kind of drug me in. I was like, man, who is that man? And I don't even go that way.
Sexiest voice. I'll take that. That's all right. That's a compliment.
Sexiest voice. That's right. You better be making some money off of it.
No, man. Hey, look, this is all free right here.
I'll take it, baby. I'll take it. I like free.
Yes, this is all for you, but baby, this is just you.
All right, what's the beer of the week? It is Modelo Especial because it's a Especial episode.
Oh man, I got Guinness. I know you can't see, but I'm sipping on a Guinness right now.
Oh, Guinness.
Yeah.
A little heavy for me.
Yeah, I like the Guinness, and I got a little. Is it okay if I have a Jameson chaser with this, or? Absolutely, yes. Chasers are allowed for sure. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, there, Mr. Mike. Well, I'm a 6'2" gentleman. I'm coming in about 320 right now. Hitting about 320. Bald as can be, smooth with it. And that's about it. That's all I can give you right now. I mean, if you want to take it to the DMs later, we can.
Hey, I'm all about some DMs.
Oh man.
Yeah. So where did I meet you at? Tell us a little bit about your playground.
Okay, so I got a little Skype group called Atheist Roundtable. This Skype group started off probably February of 2020, and I was fooling around on the TikTok, and I started getting a few cool relationships going on there. So I took it to the Skype, that's, kind of take it over to the Skype. And that's budded obviously across the wavelengths, and hence the Atheist Roundtable. The Atheist Roundtable. It kind of, the Atheist Roundtable is birthed from this group, but there's often a lot of back and forths with some of the folks in the group. They'll say, "Hey, this TikToker this, or this TikToker that." Well, if my memory serves me, Josh, I don't know if you're Josh the plumber.
Yeah, Josh is kind of the one who introduced me to all you guys.
Well, Josh and Murder Shed Steve they're having a little chit chat about you, and it was going on for several days, and I just kind of finally was like, who the hell's this Eddie guy? Who's Eddie? Who is the guy you're talking about? And they shared a video. They dropped a link to one of your videos, and I just thought it was nonsensical that they were going back and forth about you. I said, hey, let's try and get him on the Tart Show to chat with him. So, and the rest is history, because I made that video that you responded to. And
yeah, that was the video that at first I didn't know who you guys were. And then I was like, no, because I was already invited to go on to Axioms on Trial. And
the Atheist Roundtable.
Yeah, that one.
Every time you say Axioms on Trial, I got to hit that.
And so I declined it at first, but then I went and watched some shows. I saw some pretty dumb Christians on there, and a lot of dumb Christians.
Sure.
And you guys were pretty fair. I mean, they're easy to have fun with. So I was like, they're pretty fair guys. I'll go over and check them out. So yeah, that was a couple of fun times.
It was interesting because there was a lot of controversy about you in the chat, and when I made that video, I was just like egging you on to come on the show. And when you came on the show, I immediately saw some kind of, I don't want to say talent. Is talent the appropriate word? I mean, yeah, I guess I can say talent.
I'll take talent. Yeah.
Yeah, talent is good. So I saw that kind of, I'm like, oh, this guy could be good with Oz. I kind of likened you to Oz in a way. I felt that you would be a good pairing to Oz, because just with Oz, he also likes to read comments as he interviews people as well. So I thought, yeah, these guys are going to be good together.
Yeah.
The Atheist Roundtable.
That's hilarious. I was playing around and put Oz in timeout. I didn't realize it was going to be for 5 minutes. So we don't have to hear much from him.
He's in timeout. Okay. Well, he's been there before.
Oh yeah.
He's familiar with that place.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Had a couple of headbutts with a few people, and talked about a few things that we usually talk about, but different angle. So that was nice. I haven't been around the atheist crowd too much on the internet, so it was like a new kind of experience thing. So, but I'll tell you, I mean, you guys were very fair. It was, a little in the beginning, it was a little rocky because I thought it was, let's bring Christians up here and look like idiots. But then I realized the ones that were volunteering to come on did a very good job of doing that themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing who wants to jump onto the camera and, give their spiel. And then they're like, you get behind that camera, man, it's a whole different thing. So how long ago did you meet everybody?
Well, Oz,
at the Atheist Roundtable.
At the Atheist Round. So I think Oz was the first guy I met. I met Oz probably October of 2019. Oz and Mac Peen, the gentleman that you saw on the Atheist Pizza episode recently. Those two guys I met around about the same time, but Oz and I, had more in common with the lack of belief. So it was odd, but Just Jeff and Just Jeff and Seastano were pretty close, but Just Jeff being the more active on the app. Seastano is more of a commenter, and Connor Prosser. There's a lot of guys that really aren't on the platform as much nowadays that were back then. And then, thank you, appreciate it. I'm not even using my good amp right now, but hey, but then we kind of formed like the Transformers. Well, no, the Power Rangers. The Atheist Power Rangers came together around February, March time, though. So I'd known Austin quite a bit. We had chatted and gotten friendly, before we actually ever got into the YouTube thing for a good few months, maybe 4 or 5 months.
So how did you end up on TikTok? That's what I'm kind of wondering, because you just don't seem like a TikTok kind of guy.
Oh, it was actually, I heard you telling your story once, and it was actually kind of similar. It lines up in a same format. So my stepdaughter had downloaded the app and I told her to. So she's only 10. And I just didn't realize it was everything goes. The For You page is like you could get the kids stuff, but you could also get somebody shaking their ass as well. So it's like you really don't know what to expect.
Yeah, so, that algorithm is something.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that a 10-year-old told me about it, and I just said, yeah, it sounds like a cool thing. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think she'd had it on her tablet for about a good month, and then I started hearing it was that one song, Bust That Open, Bring It Back. I heard that song, and I'm like, what in the world is that? So I go and grab it. But then when I took it from her, I kind of, because it was under my email and stuff anyway, I started seeing all this Christian content as well, intertwined with stripper club hip hop. I was like, it's like the algorithm either likes Christian content, prayer of the day, or strip club hip hop. It's like that's the false dichotomy of TikTok.
Yeah, that's yeah. They kept at first. Years ago, it was I think it was called Musical.ly.
That's right. What it was called. That's right.
Yeah, because my middle daughter was like real big into it, and I knew she was in what she was doing in the bathroom, and I'd like bust the door open right in the middle of her doing a dance thing. Dad, I'm trying to do this,
and all in their fun.
Yeah, and well, that's what we're here for. That's why we have kids, so we can share something.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it went away for a while. I guess it got unpopular, and then next thing I know, she's doing the same thing for TikTok, and I was like, "That's just like the other app," and she's like, "Oh, it's the same one. They just redid it." And I was, just like, whatever. But then after several funny videos later, because I thought they just did dances and music like everybody else. A few funny videos later, and I'm like, man, that is pretty funny right there. So, spending a lot of time in airports and travel and things of that nature, a little in the thinking room and stuff, it's perfect, perfect place. So perfect entertainment. So, well, do you have a vision for the Atheist Roundtable? Is there somewhere that you guys are heading for? Are you trying to kind of wing it or see what comes of it, or?
So the original vision was to have like a multifaceted platform with the more voices, the better type of thing. So it wouldn't have just been just two folks having a show and the same show. So it'd be like almost like a network. So we kind of, we rolled with the Atheist Network or the Atheist Roundtable. So we just said, screw it, let's copyright the two of them. But we currently just go with the Atheist Roundtable. The Atheist Roundtable. And yeah, and so it's in the contract. So
yes.
Well, if you kind of go back and look a little bit, it's a bit choppy in the beginning because I kind of gave Oz a bunch of responsibility and said, go ahead and do what you want to do. And he had a format that he thought would work with like the how, what, and why structure, which was good on paper, because you want to bring a person into the interview setting, although it would be a stream version of an interview. And you're going to go through what they believe and why and things. And we did that for a little while, but we also have things where we now do a bit of comedy. We do a bit of debate. and we're opening up the door to pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be atheist porn next.
I'll have to check out on that one.
I'm talking about like PAWN, like
yeah.
You're on the same page. Yeah.
I actually went back and looked at some of the earlier episodes, and one of the greatest things you ever did for Oz is make him put a hat on. Because I was looking at it and I was like, I mean, he doesn't look bad with a bald head, but
no, you got a good shaped head. You do. You I think you and I share. We're lucky we've lost our hair, but we have pretty good shaped heads. Oz looked like he'd been dropped a few times when he was younger.
I just wasn't used to seeing him like that. So when I saw it, I was like, what? That's Oz? What?
He might have been beat with the Bible, though. He might have been beat. So we shouldn't be making fun of because he did get abused. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, instead of phone books, though, they use King James versions.
New King Jameses as well, not even the old one.
Oh, was it hardback?
The hardback.
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's rough there.
Yeah.
Mine was kind of whatever, my mother got her hands on. So I think I pretty much felt just about every material object in this universe.
Golly. But I tell you, we are hoping though to make it more of a multi-gender based, gender fluid based as well, because we got a couple of I'm not going to give too much away, but we do have some things up our sleeve for KNEVs and some of the other ladies in the atheist roundtable group. Notes from Autumn, Britt, the science guy. Some of these, I'm going to say young ladies. I'm assuming they're younger than myself, but they're putting a little show together. So we want to get them on the atheist roundtable too to get our ugly mugs off for a little while.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Given the patriarchal nature of this country and lack of opportunities for so many women and minorities, I think that's definitely a noble thing to do, and I think it's great. I'd love to see it.
Well, it's just a shame because not now. Granted, this particular type of platform where you got a guy in his 40s online trying to meet up with folks online, it's always a little bit suspicious if you're, hey, look, I'm a straight white guy, and I'm how can you demonstrate that you're sincere when you're chatting with females or ladies or however they prefer to be termed,
right?
Without coming across like you're a creep. But it's a male-driven environment, so it's easy to say, oh, I can put a show together with 6 guys immediately. It's so easy to do that. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a quality group of ladies on a show. It's just there's just not as many of them, and it's a shame. I wish there was more, and I wish it was a little bit easier to do without coming across like a giant creep.
Yeah, you always have that hill to climb. So, oh, wait a minute. Since Oz gets to say it on his show, I'm gonna say it on mine. Titan Uranus is in the house.
Atheist Roundtable Live.
Oh man! So tell us a little bit about your atheism. Oz calls you a cradle atheist.
He does. He does call me that, bastard. It sounds like an insult at first, doesn't it? But I kind of thought it through, and I'm like, it's not really an insult, He called me that at first. I'm like, I don't know if I want to accept that, you bastard. It's like he's a little baby or something, a little whiny baby. No, but I think correct me if I'm wrong, I interpret that as you've been an atheist from the manger, from the birth type thing. So I'm kind of I'm pretty much I wasn't indoctrinated, for lack of a better term. I wasn't raised in a religious upbringing. I don't recall being a believer. I think there was a very brief period of time when I was a younger boy. I probably looked at the world as a created world. Just like I did think Santa was real.
Yeah.
But my belief in deities died when I learned that Santa wasn't real.
You know, that's actually a very good point, because one of the, you might think it's funny, but one of the most devastating times in my life is when I found out Santa wasn't real.
Oh, I was pretty pissed too. I was pretty upset about that.
Yeah, so it was I had found all the boxes and behind the shop, and I was real young, and I was like, wait a minute.
Behind the shop? What shop? Your dad had a shop?
Yeah, he had a shop. And
man.
Yeah, I was like, why would Santa leave the boxes here? You know, so I started to I wasn't the dumbest kid, you know, I wasn't the smartest, but I started kind of put things together.
Have you proven though? Have you got it? It's easy for you to say with none of the kids you grew up with around right now.
Yeah, they all were. I was a, for lack of a better term, a Santa apologist. So, so after hearing it long enough and then putting everything together, I was like, bro, this sucks, you know? And then of course, thinking at that young age, I was thinking, you know, because I know the secret, am I not going to get anything now? You know? So, but we were, with our first kids, we hopped on the fundamentalist train. And because, you know, being real just narrow-minded and legalistic, you know, I was thinking, if we do Santa Claus with our kids, and then we do Tooth Fairy, and we do the Easter Bunny, and all this stuff, when it comes to Jesus, who they're never going to physically see with their eyes, more than likely on this earth, why would they believe us? You know, and I didn't like the whole idea of lying to my kids. Nothing against people that do that. I've been open and honest with my kids about everything their entire life, because that's what I want from them. So what is it that makes you stand hard in your atheism? What is it about the God claims that you have issue with?
They're just too far-fetched now. Some more than others, obviously, but you know, the lack of evidence, and you know, I'm very firm with the whole scientific method. So if you can't go ahead and repeat something, and then obviously there's the facet of how important this claim is. You know, if this is something that has such a you know, backing to it, then I'm not going to just go off of what those folks said back in the day.
So do you ever wonder? Do you ever look to the sky and wonder if there's so much more?
Well, maybe not. Maybe that last part, no. But yes, I do wonder.
I mean, like the gorgeousness of the stars 100%. And things of that nature. So.
Oh yeah, I think that this world has so much wonder to it, wonderment and awe and beauty but also it has hideous, nasty. You know, I watched a video the other day that was, you know, very hard to understand. There's an area in Africa where baboons have learned to capture fawns and just sit there and just eat them while they're alive, because they know they can't do anything to them. They eat them from the hind legs forward, and they eat the soft tissue, and it's grotesque.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Yeah, it's hideous. So there's also that. So you can be staring off at this beautiful sunset, and then as you cascade down, you see something like that. And this baboon the baboon looks like he's having a whale of a time, like he's eating sushi, you know? Yeah,
that's along one of the areas that a lot of people, Christians, theists, also struggle with, you know, seeing just the sheer brutalness that goes on in the world. And I think it's a valid observation. If you were going to be a theist, which do you think you would be?
I think that there's some interesting philosophy involved with some of the pantheistic or deistic things, but I have never really contemplated theism, like monotheism, like a singular God. I find those to be the most absurd, in my opinion.
A singular God. Why would we posit more, though?
Well,
if one will do the job, why have more?
Well, I kind of just don't know. The don't know element of it, like the fact that we would have narrowed it down and knowing it's one God per se, and being able to worship it. That stuff is hard to grasp, I think, for me. But if somebody was to explain that there is some kind of element other than, like a creation element to it, this world is hard to understand. I can give you that.
Yeah.
There's some unexplainable, bullshit going on.
So you often use the phrase normalizing atheism. What do you mean by that phrase?
Well, I think the word atheism is off-putting to a lot of people. It comes with a connotation. It comes with a bit of, bitterness to it, especially to people that might be feeling like they want to lean into that lifestyle. So if you're a person that's currently in a religious upbringing and you're no longer buying into that belief system, you might not want to call yourself an atheist because you're intimidated by the term and what you may have been taught or misled to believe. So that's hence I put atheist in front of pretty much anything. Atheist pizza is actually nonsensical. It's silly. Because, it's just pizza at the end of the day, right? So
yeah,
it's a satirical term. So I kind of want people to understand that atheism is just simply not believing in the claim of theism. That's all it is. It's nothing else, because I actually don't agree with a lot of the things other atheists agree with. So,
yeah. And for anybody who doesn't know that's watching this, or that's Pasta Mike has a little docu-series. It's called Atheist Pizza, and it's on the Atheist Roundtable on YouTube, and it is high quality, man. I think you do a fantastic job on it. So,
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, one of these days, you'll feel bad enough for me. You'll do some editing for me. I'm just waiting on that day.
No, I actually want to do an actual episode with you. It's getting you to the location because we live quite far away from each other. But I do want to. I want to edit you in the episode.
Oh, edit me in.
Yeah, I want to actually get some pizza with you, man. That's what I want to do.
Oh, okay. All right. Don't be, don't like make a video and put a garden gnome in it. That's not funny.
No, I think it'll be funny enough just shooting a video with us next to each other.
Oh yeah. Because you're like what, 7 foot tall or something?
No, I'm 6'2", about 320,
really?
315. Yeah.
Hey, you looked way taller in the picture I saw when y'all met up. So
I'm about 6'2", 6'3". I'm probably just under 6'3". I don't think I'm quite 6'3".
Well, I better not hear another short joke from half those people that was in the crowd then, because they're not much taller.
Well, I would argue that Jeff is lanky. But everyone else is about average height, but they're not short. Nobody's really short. I think everybody's at least 5'9", 5'10", at least.
Except for me.
Yeah. Now, the one person that is unusual, you don't think he's going to be as tall as what he is T-Jump.
Well, yeah, because you get to see his head in his chair. That's pretty much
No, this little young lady right here is a little tiny thing in real life. That little chick you just brought up right there. She's a little bitty little thing in real life.
That's what I love about my grandmother. She's like, she was 5'3", 5'4" at one time, but I think she's barely 5 foot now. So when I stand next to her, I'm like, put my arm on her head. I'm like, Grandma, I love you. And she gives it just as well as I do. So, it's usually a slap my arm off and get away from me, you freak, or something like that. So to the real questions.
Oh, let's go deep.
What is on your iPod right now? What are you listening to? Or your iPhone? I said iPod. Look at my age. Your iPhone.
Well, I was raised in the UK. I was born in Texas, raised in the United Kingdom for 20 years, actually. And European influence. So I like a lot of electronic music, dance, EDM, house music, trance music, drum and bass. But I also like blues and old school country, and I also like R&B. I do like I like 90s rap.
Yeah.
I don't like modern rap at all.
Yeah, I don't either. But I am being from Memphis, I have to be a blues person. But I love there's nothing like sitting around listening to a steel guitar and drinking a beer in a dimly lit club if you've never been to Beale Street in Memphis, it is just,
I have not, and I would love to. I'm envious of that. Man,
it is fantastic, even if you're not a blues fan, because the history that's there, of course, not all good, but on Beale Street they have about every kind of blues club and regular clubs that you could go to, but some of them are they're perfect. It's a hole in the wall. It's dimly lit. There's not a bunch of people in there, and you just kind of hang out in the corner, drink beer, and listen to, these blues guys that's been playing for many years. And they got a lot of street performers too. There's some pretty awesome music guys on the street there. So what is your... Oh, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I do like to sip on some bourbon.
There you go.
See, my U.S. family from South Carolina.
South Carolina.
I really haven't got any ties to Texas. I was a military brat, so. But South Carolina and Wales is like the split I got.
That is one heck of a combination.
It's a nice
you're
split.
You're like a redneck Briton kind of guy.
Well,
British redneck.
I think the Welsh are the rednecks of the British. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're all Yanks.
They got a goddamn dragon on their flag, man.
They mean business, son.
Yeah, they mean business. But I do like bourbon, so I like to sip on some bourbon and listen to some blues when I'm relaxing. But I also like the club music, like the trance music and stuff too, but more so from what I grew up on. I used to DJ that stuff back in the day. It's more of a nostalgic thing. Yeah,
my wife is from South Florida, so I used to go down there with her and her family. So there's a lot of European influence there. There's South Florida is like a whole different world from the rest of the country. Everybody's from somewhere else.
That's right.
So the dance music, the techno, all of that, man, it was everywhere all the time. So when I came back, the several times that I went, every time I heard it, it just reminded me of South Florida. So I just kind of fell in love with, that kind of music. So I feel you there. It'll get you going, get you want a little dance a little bit. Do you dance?
Not anymore. It's not that I can't. It's because I got a pistol in my pants.
Okay. I don't even want to know anymore. Right there. So, what was your favorite food in the UK?
What do you mean? What was? Well,
I mean, in the UK.
Okay, yeah. So my mom likes, luckily for me, and if anyone ever was lucky enough to grow up with a mama that cooked, then you're a lucky person. So my mama cooked all the time. Because we weren't we were quite kind of poor actually, and so it wasn't eating. We didn't eat out, very rarely. It was cooking, but luckily for me, she could cook, and I was single parent, and she'd cook a lot of British, food, a lot of potatoes, man. We can do a lot with potatoes, and there's a nice Welsh. It's almost like a cross between a stew and a soup. It's called cowl.
Cowl?
It'll warm your bones, bro.
The potato thing, that's because Ireland, That was like their major export.
But it's very similar. Like, you got to appreciate like these Celtic colonies like Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. The food cuisine is very similar. But I think the Scots are the only ones that eat haggis, though. They're the only crazy.
That's what I was going to say. Haggis, is that the one like the blood?
No.
Pudding? What is the blood pudding?
So Welsh eat that. That's black pudding. It's just clotted pig's blood fried up. You're talking about haggis. It's like pig's intestines and stomach. I'm not sorry. Yeah, I think is it a lamb or pig? I forget. It's like stomach lining and. Yeah, it's not something I want to. A lot of people like it though.
Well, at least in the southern U.S., when people eat chitlins, they fry them.
Hey, I'm not going to say this word because it might get flagged, but the
blood pudding. That's right.
No, the mean term, the derogatory term they call gay people here in the U.S.
Yeah, that's a cigarette over there, isn't it?
Not only that, okay, that's the three-letter variant. But the full term, the full term, it rhymes with maggot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a dish over there in Wales. You eat it with peas. Google it right now. Put instead of put maggots and peas, but put F in front of it.
Yeah,
I promise you, it's actually a dish.
I believe you. So what was your face the first time you heard somebody say, "Hey, would you like some?"
Well, they don't refer to gay men or gay people as that over there in Wales.
Oh, and you grew up so you didn't even know that it was
a derogatory term. No, not until I was a teenager and started watching American TV, and I saw that it was like a term. But I also didn't eat that food that much either, though.
I don't blame you. There's been places I've been, and shepherd's pie is real big. There's been places that I've had some shepherd's pie that was and so I don't know. Is there like different variations or?
Yeah, some people put peas in it. There is different variations.
Okay, I was going to say I've had some really good. Most places it was good. We went to a place in Vegas. It was an Irish pub, and it was probably the closest to a real Irish food or UK food, period, because it's all real close and kind of the same. But they had smoked salmon, which is like, but the way they served it, they said it was how they eat it, or it's like a real big snack or thing in the UK. And I don't like salmon, but it was pretty good. I mean, it came out, with some crackers and stuff, and it was fantastic.
What you call me?
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Oh, hold on a second. You don't like salmon for real? I'm a big fan of salmon, Eddie.
I like salmon if you can keep the moisture and not have the fat strip on the bottom, because I just don't do the fish taste.
You can cut that off, right?
Yeah, but it like permeates the meat anytime you get anywhere near the bottom of it.
Yeah, so I guess it's all how you prepare it and cook it, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big catfish fan too, but if it's not done right, I'm not eating it. If it's got the fat that's in it, the black part, you can ruin some catfish that way.
You look like one of those guys going to ask for the manager at a restaurant too. You look like
that's right. Yeah. You're like, what kind of catfish place is this?
Let me speak to Steve, the manager.
Steve, Murder Shed.
Bring Steve out right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, I need to talk to Steve, please. Yeah. Steve messed my fish up.
Yeah.
Eddie doesn't like fat. No, you're right, Jeff. I don't like fat. I don't eat fat on anything. I cook my steaks in it, but then I carve it. It's just So what is
Eddie, you gotta make Titan a mod and Grumpy. They'll do your streams justice.
Will they? Yeah, because none of them ever come in it, so it doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, but they will. They will. They're new to your channel, and I mean,
it's hard to mod a chat that only has like 3 or 4 people in it. So
trust me, if like where I went wrong, this is actually a good topic to cover right here for content creation.
Okay.
One of the mistakes I did was I kind of was using the wrenches as almost like a reward, and because I started seeing people coming in the chat a lot, I'm like, oh, let me give them a wrench, make almost like psychology, make them feel good, like a little pat on the back. Well, next thing you know, you got like all your regulars are coming in the chat, and it's a bunch of blue folks, but not everyone deserves a wrench, or might not even need one. You know what I'm saying? So I take ownership in that. I'm the one that did it. And I said, Oz, hey, we got like 50 people that got wrenches, and some people probably don't even want it, A, and then B, some people don't, you never know, will just misuse it. But then there are some folks, like the guys I just mentioned, who are genuinely good at being mods, and that's what they do, if that makes sense.
Aunt Kathy's coming out with the definitions here. Look at that.
I knew she was part Scottish.
That's right. I'm stealing her from you too. She's I think she's going to come on the show and like quiz me and give me questions and stuff.
She said I was too tall for her. She wants a shot. she just texted me and said, "Is Eddie drinking out of a shot glass? Because it looks really big." It just looks big in his hands.
Well, actually, it is like a really big mug because I got a big head. And look, see, it's a big mug.
Man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right.
All right.
If you get a gallon of it, you don't have to have them keep coming back. You know what I mean?
True. That's true. Hey, where's Mrs. Kroom right now?
Mrs. Kroom is in the other room making sure that the little Krooms.
Oh, the little Krooms.
Yeah.
I like the little Krooms.
She's my bouncer. They get anywhere near my door, and she's like just arm bars and just chokeholds and stuff. So, yeah, that's my moderator right there.
There you go.
That's right.
The main one.
Yeah.
I got you.
So the real questions are.
Let's go.
What's your favorite ice cream?
See, me, I do have it depends on which brand, because I probably got that particular. I got like which brand you know, then I'll give you a flavor. But typically it's chocolate and nuts. So chocolate and nuts. It's got to have a nut. And I don't mind which. I like almonds. I like peanuts. I like pistachio. But I have to have it chocolate nut blend. Not too much of a vanilla. If it's more vanilla than it is chocolate, I'll tend to sway away from that. I want it to be a chocolate-based ice cream. So chocolatey as far as the ice cream base, and then nuts. And then if it's not, if let's say some other fat chocolate-loving bastard's gone before me and picked that up, then my secondary thing will be like vanilla base. But then if it does have a nut, then the nut better be chocolate covered. You feel me?
Man, you are serious about your ice cream.
That's it. That's how it works.
Something told me you were a nut kind of guy.
Yeah, but see, I'll buy two. I'll buy two things: one to consume and one to spread on myself while I'm consuming it.
It's a mental image. I'm not sure I want it. Good thing I don't know what you look like, because it leaves a lot to the imagination.
You've seen me in several videos.
Yeah, I know. You look as good as your voice.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Pasta and I are going to have some talks later on.
Chocolate nut ice cream.
So this is going to determine where our relationship goes.
Okay, go ahead.
Does pineapple go on pizza?
It does. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
It does. I'm sorry.
No.
I'll be honest with you, Eddie. I'll be honest with you. I think that you can. There's not much that can't go on pizza. I have I'm very lenient with the things that you can put on pizza. I'll be fair.
That's I'm sorry, man. That's a deal killer.
See, I don't eat pork. So I don't. eat ham on a pizza, but I'll substitute. I'll put chicken and pineapple.
It's funny. They call it Canadian bacon, and it's just ham.
It's just thick cut. Well, ask Brittany. She's a Canuck.
Yeah. Oh, is she? Oh, that's right. She is. Hey, what's up with the Canadian bacon? She's probably wondering as much as we are. Why they call it Canadian bacon.
She'll know. She'll know the historicity of the thickness of the cut. They have a steak in the UK called gammon steak. It's just a thick cut piece of pork, and they serve it with a piece of pineapple. Actually,
what?
Yeah, it's like a big old chunk of pork. They call it a gammon steak.
That sounds like abusing a steak. I mean, that's worse than putting pineapple on pizza.
Well, look, it comes with. Usually, they serve it with a piece of pineapple.
My mother used to make pork chops with cloves and pineapples.
My mother used to call me pork chop.
I'm not going to tell you what my mom used to call me. I had to have the my ears pierced, because I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. And, it was kind of the thing. And we didn't do
club were big back then as well.
Yeah. And we didn't do the one ear thing. You had to have both of them done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I got both of them done, my mom started telling everybody I was the little girl she always wanted. And to make it worse, believe it or not, I had long hair, long, straight, gorgeous hair.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's this, like, that's what kills me now is it grew so long and straight and just was perfect. And now it's like, I wished I had that hair again.
I don't know if you suffer from the same thing I do. So I used to have long hair too in my teenage years, and mine was curly and blonde. So I looked like a surfer kid in Wales, which didn't make any sense. But so I occasionally will dream that I still have hair. Does that happen to you sometimes?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
And then I'll wake up pissed. I'll be like,
that's
I was about to go to the hair aisle in the grocery store, and I was getting all hyped for it, dreaming of Paul Mitchell.
It's funny because people are like, sometimes I do hear, well, you look pretty decent bald, and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, thanks, but I would really, really want hair.
It could be worse though, because you could have a head like Oz.
That is true, or a beard like Oz. That's worse.
Oh,
at least
that'd be terrible. Yeah, that'd be terrible. That would be terrible.
I love Oz. Oz is my brother from another mother. I was actually looking to see how, you see these Bosley commercials and stuff like that. And they're talking about like skin grafts and planting hair like one at a time. And I'm like, what? No, I think I'll just stay bald.
So about 10 years ago, I looked into Bosley. It was when I still had a little bit of hair going on. I felt like I could salvage it, right? So I looked into it. And I don't know if they've changed the procedure now, but the old procedure was they would literally scalp you in the back, like cut like a chunk of the back of your head out where you have good hair. Because, there's an area of your hair that's immune to going bald, right, on men.
Yeah.
So they would take those follicles and then, implant them, like stick them into the scalp, like in an artistic way. There's a little bit of art to it, but it only took to so many people. And then it was like 18 grand. This was like in 2010. I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Bro. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm good. I don't want to be messing with any of that stuff.
I'm not that vain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I looked at the oils, the creams and all that, but it doesn't work for everybody, and you have to keep using it. And as soon as you stop using it, then your hair goes back.
I honestly think that if there is a God up there, he didn't want you to have hair.
I agree. But it is, it's one of those bittersweet things, because people who have male pattern baldness are people who have more testosterone. So they build muscle easier and they grow beards thicker and fuller. But the testosterone is converted into a chemical is what makes your hair fall out.
D-high testosterone.
Do what?
I think it's called D-high testosterone.
Is that what it is? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so it's like, I can hit the weights for like 3 weeks and I'm like, but I can't get any hair, Yeah. It's like, sometimes I wish it was like a SpongeBob episode where I could just go,
oh yeah,
it just pops out. It'd be great. Oh man. So what do you have coming up as far as I know you've been working a lot on different like mini series and stuff like that. Do you have something else in the works, or maybe something secret, or you can't talk about? Or?
No secrets, man. And I'm surprised you haven't. You could have. Look, your time's almost up. You could have asked me anything, man. I'm an open book. But I really was hoping to do more high quality documentary videos, and it's sad because I don't have enough people to do it with. So now, granted, I can't fly too far, but I can drive within decent distance on the East Coast, maybe somewhere toward the West, and I'll take care of the bills and things for the trips. But I'm not having too much of a reception of folks wanting to do it. But Pastor Landy Dandy, he's in Tuscaloosa, I think.
Pastor Landy. I don't
really nice guy. He was one of our earlier. He's been on TART like back when we first started. Really nice guy, younger guy. He's probably in his late 20s. Really, really nice gentleman. And he debated J. Mike early on. He just reached out to me and wants to. He said he'll even drive like to meet me halfway somewhere.
Nice.
So I'm be going to do, but that's when you say if I got something coming up, I just really want to focus on doing that. I've got all the equipment now to make film. That's my passion, is to do that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, you said I could ask anything, but I don't want to give away too much of the mystery.
Oh, look, and there goes this time, man. My bad.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us on the Atheist Roundtable. All right, just fucking with you. Go ahead.
Come on.
You got a picture of me now. See, you made me send you a picture of me. So
that's right.
You want with that?
I'm gonna hold it against you. It's gonna be blackmail. How do I even know it's you?
Good. Hey, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
you could check with it. There's one or two people that have met me, so you could check with them.
Okay. Yeah, I could check with them. All right. So since I can ask anything, what's your social security number?
All right. 642-882456.
What do you do for a living?
This.
Okay. Where do you live?
In Georgia.
That narrows it down. Why do you hate God?
I don't know if he exists. These are good questions, though. These are good questions.
Do you just love your sin?
No, I do. Now the sin that I'm interpreting, so the things that I've been told are sin, yes, those are really lovable things.
How often do you hear you hate God or love your sin?
I'll be honest, I don't hear it that much.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad. There's a lot of fundamentalists out there. It seems to be their go-to line.
No, I know it's there. So don't get me wrong. I'm not denying that, there's a lot of people that throw that dogma down folks' throats. But I'm saying luckily, I'm not out there walking around. With that being said, though, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because I'm like a closeted atheist in a way by choice, I live in an extremely heavily populated, fundamental Christian right-wing area of, now granted, we did have that recent change of vote here where I live in Georgia, but that doesn't change the fact that there's still a ton of,
you flip Georgia, you've done something.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, I took Jeff out to eat the other day, and there was a store in downtown Kennesaw that's still got a giant Trump sign in it, like an actual business. That's a business, like an actual business.
Yeah. Well, it's sad, you know, that you have to do that because, you know, one of the, like I've said on your guys' show is, you know, one of the few groups left that you can openly discriminate against is atheists. And it's one of the most ridiculous things I know, well, other than short people. Everybody likes to discriminate on short people. But seriously, to the point though, it's like, if I just mind my own business, and I don't have to go out there and pretend like I'm a Christian, but I don't have to go that far either. Right.
But if I just kind of go out there and mind my own business and keep my opinions to myself, then nobody is running up to me and saying, you know, you love your sin and all that stuff that you just mentioned. But I'm sure if I started to get into conversations where I expressed my opinion a little bit more, I probably would be subject to it. I'm saying that assumptively, but I think I've got enough evidence to back that up.
Yeah, if you'll notice the pattern, though, it's usually people who don't have very good arguments for their position, and that's like their go-to when they don't know what else to say, you know. And it's really sad. I just, you know, because you have to protect your identity. You have to protect if you have any kind of professional career or things of that nature, because you don't know who's going to say what. What's going to happen with your career, all because you don't believe like the majority of the people around you. I think it's one of the most idiotic things that happens in this country, where we're supposed to be free, have freedom of religion or lack thereof. I mean, it makes no sense to me, you know.
Well, that's why I like you. I like you, Eddie, and we've talked now for quite some time, probably about 5 months coming up. And I've gotten that impression of you. So, like, if you're one of the local Christians in my neighborhood, and I've put you into this next analogy that I'm going to make, then I would feel okay. But the sad thing is, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned earlier, I'll tie it back in. We'll circle back around to one of the questions you asked. You said, why am I so big on normalizing atheism? For maybe 8 of the 10 things that I do in a day, it doesn't matter. But there's maybe 2 things in a day that it really does matter about. And if I was to happen to go to court here where I live for any reason, and fictitious, heaven forbid, if I was to go to court for something I didn't do, and I was up against swearing on oath or something, although I have the right to not swear on the Bible, you know, I'm totally fine to do that. That would go against me, because I obviously would have to display that in front of the witnesses, for example.
All right.
So I would be better off being disingenuous and pretending like I believe in a God for that group of people to like me more than for me to stand up for my own rights and say, no, I don't want to swear on the Bible because I don't believe in that.
That's a very good point. I mean, that's because immediately they're going to, given the numbers, they're going to have some type of bias if they see you refuse to, use the Bible. So that's why I would like to normalize atheism. And you see certain people in power that don't even know that you have that right. There are some people in power that believe that that in the American judicial system that everyone is supposed to swear on a Bible. They don't even take the time out to think that a Muslim can swear on a Quran if they want. A lawyer can swear on a stack of law books if they want. You can actually refuse to swear. You don't have to swear on a tangible object. All right. Yeah, that reminds me of a video I saw, a clip of a guy who was arguing that you absolutely most certainly have to on a Bible, and it was a terrible argument he was making about something. I don't know. And he got schooled by the interviewer. I think it was on CNN or something. It says, no, you don't. But that was a lawmaker. He thought
that was Jake Trapper, I think, with what's his name? The guy was saying that he wasn't Trump's attorney, but he was mentioning that Trump had done it, and Jake said, "Well, that's because Trump believes in that God, and it makes sense for him to swear on a Bible."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of like I've said on your show, and we've had many talks, and that's kind of why I have a kind of a passion for a lot of atheists. I went through the deconstruction myself. Although I'm still a believer, I'm just disgusted at the way that people who think differently, don't have beliefs, or even part of another religion are treated in this country, and there's a lot of lip service. Oh, I would do that. I wouldn't do that. But when it comes down to it, we see the voting patterns. We see the hostility towards, I'm originally from Tennessee. Tennessee, they had this massive hoopla over one of the state's buildings that was being built because they were putting in a Muslim wash tub or whatever in the corner of the bathroom. Well, it turns out it was a janitor's mop sink. And they threw this massive fit when in Tennessee actually has a pretty sizable Muslim population. And what they don't understand is one day they may not be in the majority. And then all these precedents they want to try to set is going to backfire on them. And then they're going to be whining about that. So this, it's a Christian nation. It's a Christian nation. Yes, I understand. Actually, a lot of the founding forefathers were more deists than Christians. But I understand, the argument for the laws.
I got to stop you because that's so unusual to hear a Christian say that. That's unusual to hear.
What's that?
Well, you just what you just said. It's right there in history. You can read it and see that. Don't get me wrong. I've also heard atheists try and argue that the founding fathers were agnostic or atheist, which is not true, but they certainly were not Christian.
No, yeah, a lot of them were deists. They weren't even.
Well, back then, it was more common to be deist. That was like a very common belief system.
Right.
And it was after the whole thing was founded where a lot of people adopted Christianity. But Christians are very quick to say it was founded on a Christian belief and that the founding fathers were Christian, and that's just simply not true.
No, that's not at all. As a matter of fact, if they do a little research into the founding fathers, they'll find out that they were pretty wealthy men with a lot of power who were looking for another place to build their wealth. Right. And that's why they were businessmen. They weren't nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
They weren't people who come over here downtrodden, escaping tyranny like the story we always hear. I mean, sure, they wanted out from under the church, but this was an opportunity to build their wealth and empire. There's a lot about our history that, a lot of people don't understand in this country. And because of the church, that's why they added everything to protect not just freedom of religion, but freedom from being compelled by religion. Mm-hmm. And when people want to fight and change the Constitution and things of this nature because they think that their religion, is what it's based on. I mean, if you want to get serious, you want to get technical about it, Islam follows the Abrahamic God too. So if Christians trace their quote unquote moral law back to the Abrahamic God, well, then Islam has every claim that they have, so, but in this country, we don't have a right to force our beliefs onto other people or discriminate people because of their beliefs or lack thereof. So that's kind of what I was pushing for earlier when I asked you about the normalizing atheism.
Well, I have a distinct difference between pushing atheism on people and just normalizing it. I'm more about normalizing. I'd like to give a good demonstration and a good give off a good appearance of what atheism is, rather than trying to push my opinions or beliefs or lack thereof onto other individuals.
Yeah, it's. I don't think a lot of Christians in this country realize what a lot of atheists go through. Of course, not being cradle atheists, but the deconversion, the shunning by their family, community. I've heard stories of atheists losing jobs, losing friends, losing family, and all because they don't hold the same belief that their family does. And it's a disgrace the way that human beings are being treated because they're different. These same people would say, I'm not a racist, I'm not a bigot, all of this, but they're okay with treating people who don't believe their way, poorly, or being prejudiced against them or things of that nature. And it's so, I mean, I'm with you. I don't, of course, I think, I don't think atheists are true or, I don't think their understanding of reality is true, but, it doesn't matter to me about them being a human being, and I think that's something that in this country, man, it's an absolute shame, especially, where you live in Georgia, where I live in Arkansas, or Tennessee, where I'm from. I mean, I couldn't imagine having, if I had to reveal that I was an atheist if I was. So, yeah, I applaud what you guys do over at the Atheist Roundtable, creating that atmosphere for those that are hurting or coming out of that, as a place to have, community and support. So that's, one of the reasons that I've been here. I mean, been with you guys since I met you guys, is because I think we kind of have a common goal, and that's to stop dehumanizing people, for whatever reason.
Yeah, I gotta tell you though, it's definitely Steve and Josh that got the ball rolling with you, and I know Steve was joking in the chat. It wasn't necessarily shit that they were talking about. I could tell that they both cared about you, and it wasn't like this guy is an idiot or anything like that. They were, in fact, they were saying that you have, some balls on you for the type of arguments that you're bringing, and it was the topic of conversation constantly. But my point was, let's not just talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's get this person involved. And in fairness to Steve, he immediately was like, duh, what am I thinking? And got on board, as soon as we chatted about it. And now you're one of Steve's favorite theists,
Oh, well, Steve is one of my favorite atheists.
Yeah.
I still look back and I try to wrap my head around how Steve I know how it happened. He was assuming my position on, and I didn't know him. So at the same time, I had a whole bunch of people with about the same assumptions and just was hammering me. And so I was kind of being a jerk to him, and I, just trolling him a little bit. And then finally he asked me.
Well, he didn't argue with anybody. You must have had something with Steve, because he very seldom go back and forth with folks like that.
Yeah, I noticed that now. I'm like, man, I think he was just looking to pick on me. He may have known I was short then. That's what he was.
Because he knows he can get you in the back of his van easy.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. Get the potato sack.
Yeah, he's like, I can get him by myself.
But we broke through when he asked me, well, what do you believe? And I sent a video back on TikTok and said, thank you. That's all I wanted. Just ask me what I believe. Let me tell you where I'm at. And that kind of, with Josh and him, and Josh was, when I first met him, he was just in the DMs, we're just kind of, he's like, well, I'm a hard determinist and this, that, and the other, and all these different positions. And I was and finally I told him, we were kind of going back and forth a little bit. I was like, hey, bro, let me make something clear. I'm not an evangelist. I'm not trying to convert you or anything like that. I said, in fact, I get aggravated at the fundamentalists on here far more than I do any atheists.
I think that's the one he dropped for me to watch.
What's that?
The one where you're, basically.
Talking about I told him, I said, if you would be quiet and listen to me, not because I know so much more than you or anything like that, but my background is philosophy. And I was kind of joking. I was like, I'll make you a fundamentalist killer. And, because his arguments are pretty terrible. But to his credit, he didn't have too much pride. He listened and, we worked through a few things and, he started to kind of wheels turn and kind of went and did his own thing. So,
I think there's benefits and pros and cons to TikTok. You can definitely, like, case in point, you can make friends on TikTok. If you're a guy in his 40s and you're lonely during the pandemic and you want to get some cool friends, right there, you can make some friends. But with one of the elements to it, I find it counterproductive. So if you're on TikTok and you're just responding to some stranger's comment and you're putting effort into making a 15 or 20 second video, like, this is a fallacy, and you're just explaining what a fallacy is, and you're in your truck and then you look at the person's page and their page is like videos of comment responses. To me, it's nonsensical. And I thought, this guy needs a YouTube channel. He doesn't need a TikTok page of comment video replies. No one's going to follow that. You need a YouTube channel, gloss it up a little bit, call it something cool, show your personality, come in 1080p instead of portrait mode on your cell phone, and chat to people, because there was something there, and Steve's the same. Steve and the guys, we start chatting in Skype, and I'm looking at Steve in his shed, and to Steve, he's probably thinking, I'm just going to go in my shed and chat to some guys I just met online. Who are these fucking weirdos? But I'm like, Steve, it's genius, dude. You're going to be Murder Shed Steve from that goddamn shed. Don't you dare put a green screen up. And the dude kills it. I mean, the dude kills it now.
Oh, he plays the part great. Right. I love it. The horrible dad jokes.
Yeah. terrible dad jokes. And Grumpy has got Steve's original pipe, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the pipe in a while. What do you do with the pipe? Did he lose it?
No, still got the pipe.
Yeah, that, it's funny because I had thought for a long time, being a outgoing person and love talking and running my mouth and all this, about doing some kind of, YouTube channel or something like that. And, I talked to my wife over couple of years, just bouncing it back. But being ADD, you get this, you want to go do this, you want to go do that. And then, a month later, you're just like, whatever, I'll do something else. But after meeting you guys and you guys having me on and start to have me on regular and getting comfortable in front of it and seeing how much entertainment it can be, I've had a blast. I mean, even the ones that seemed like it wasn't a blast, it was still a blast. And, watching you guys kind of build what you're building and, the encouragement from you and from Oz, it's, I give you guys all the credit in the world, because I probably wouldn't have made that step if it wasn't for you guys. And you kind of gave me the confidence and the desire to want to do it. And so I give you guys all the credit and thanks in the world for that, or I wouldn't even be here and you wouldn't be on this show.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, man, but I swear I kind of thought you were a personality right from the start. I was like, you have some reason to be on. I love that we have different. I actually like that we have different beliefs.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd get along with everybody if they had the same beliefs or lack of beliefs as me. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that, man. We need people. We need unique people. People need to be different. We need to reach out and talk to people that's different from us. That's how we learn. That's how we get experience.
You might be the one theist that I've met that somehow, and I wouldn't call you, please don't take this offensively, I wouldn't call you a progressive Christian, but you somehow line up with, you throw out the bigotry that most people interpret as bigotry. But where I may still say to you, I find, it still boils down to you believe in a deity. I may say to you, well, I find that to be illogical. You also have just as much right to say to me something similar, but I'm not going to be offended. I'm not offended by that. And I don't mind. And we can still go out for a drink or something. I honestly don't care because you don't have any beliefs that I feel jeopardize somebody's position in life, or so if you have a personal belief that you think that there's a creator that you can have an afterlife and go to, I'm totally fine with that. But if you think that somebody can't do something or be with somebody of the same gender, or you think of some of the things that people do actually say in maybe in Islam and things, then that's a different type of thing. And I've never even seen anything like that from you. So
yeah, it's in this country, man, the way that scripture is approached, people forget that it's ancient text. It's been translated. There is a historical context to it. There's, the, literalist approach to it. It gets you into all kinds of issues, especially when you think somehow that every scripture from, thousands of years ago applies to today. That's not to say that there aren't truths that apply to today, but to take an ancient culture and an ancient text and hold to this insane inerrancy and literally, you can believe in an inerrancy of scripture without believing every story, every word, because that gets you into all kinds of trouble. Because was it the original language? Was it the English language? Which one is inerrant? Because you have to translate concepts and ideas. And I think that's where a lot of people in this country, or I'm going to say the West, it's the Western Protestant evangelical conservatives that go by this literal principle. And it's not even something that's been done historically, nor in the majority of the world. And what they don't understand is they think they're holding to unchangeable, inerrant biblical truths. And they're really, whether they're intending to do it or not, they're hiding homophobia because of the way that they interpret this book. And they, as they point out what they think are people living in sin, as if, according to the Bible, that anybody lives without sin. Everybody lives in sin. We're all fall short. And so I just approach it practically. I take it in the context of history, who the author was, who they were talking to, the time, what message they were trying to convey, the style of book, is it poetry, and all these different things. And I think that's how we've gotten to the point that we have in this country, justifying, bigotry because they think that that's what's taught in the Bible. And they would argue it's not bigotry. Well, if you're, publicly shaming people for a quote unquote sin that you don't suffer from, that's bigotry. It absolutely is.
Man, well, on that note, Eddie, I've had a wonderful time chatting with you, and I appreciate the kind questions.
Well, I had to throw my buddy some softballs. I don't want to reveal too much of the magic behind the show. The wizard behind the curtain.
I still feel like I won the debate though. So
yeah, you did. That's comes with experience, comes with time, and you have so much more than I do. So
you know how Oz always asked at the end of the debates, who won the debate? I think I got you in this one.
I'll give it to you. Just give it to my buddy.
Champion.
Thank you for joining us, Pasta.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I think we need to I'll do round 2. If you let, I'll ask your permission, obviously. Mm-hmm. But since the audio messed up on the interview that I did with you, maybe I'll come back on your show and I'll do round 2 with you.
However, you must admit to everyone right now that was not my phone or my problems from the audio.
The atheist round table.
We can't do it. Oh.
Round table, where you at, y'all?
Anyway, not sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead and plug your stuff, but never mind. Oh, yeah, I try to keep it around an hour because my attention span's low, and I'm sure a lot of other people's are. So we're running way over. I need to get you off my show.
No, you and Oz are definitely separated at birth.
That's how, really?
Golly. I don't think I could work with both of you. God damn it.
I think, you know what? I see it now, okay? It's the Oz and Eddie show. Pasta
I'd need to get paid for that.
Pasta is the hey, bro, I'm talking about
be on payroll.
A radio show or a series or something. I'm telling you, man, it blow up.
Look, I love Oz. I don't know if I love him that much to take on another one of him.
Yeah. You're just a producer, man. We just need the coaching. We need you to do your magic on the editing.
Do you know how ADD? I think Oz is ADHD.
Yeah, I just say ADD short. Yeah, me too.
And he's bipolar.
Yeah, that I can see.
I don't know what I'm getting with him sometimes, when I call him up. So if I got you and him at the same time, nah, man, I don't know.
I don't have the bipolar, but I do have anxiety disorder to go along with the ADHD. And thank you for bringing that up. Anybody that's listening to this, if you are having any mental trouble whatsoever, take the masculinity BS, throw it out the window, talk to somebody, get some help. Do not let that stuff fester. It will get worse and worse, not better and better.
100%. And Eddie, you have a website, right?
I do have a website. Or do I?
I was going to say, what you should do is put a contact on there for that particular subject. Oz has a counselor that he works with. It's linked in www.tart.live, where you can actually reach out anonymously and chat if you have issues. And I think you should do the same thing.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up about the Atheist Roundtable having the experts to help. Now, I do on my Facebook page, my banner on the background is about mental health and depression, and anybody that needs to talk to somebody can call me or message me any time of day, any night, even if I don't know you, because it just it's something that people cannot toy with. It is a deadly serious thing, and I don't mean that hyperbolic either. It's
understand.
So on that serious note, thank you, Pasta. Love you, bro.
Oh, love you too, bro. You the man.
Yeah, appreciate it. See, Oz didn't even get a I love you, but I do love you, Oz. You're my bald brother from another mother.
Thank you for joining us on Brute Facts podcast. It's been Eddie Kroom and Pasta Mike as we see you out into the night. Late night. Tuesday.
Late night, baby.
All the way from Arkansas. Home of Bill Clinton. The Clintons.
Hey, did you know that Arkansas is in the Bible? It's the only state in the Bible. Because
into the Brute Facts podcast with Eddie Kroom, the feisty little bitch of Christian. Oh yeah, guys. Don't forget that like button. It's so small. A little teeny tiny like button. Smaller than the acronym. See you later.
Yeah, so I just mute him and that's it.
Oh, good morning and hey again, good morning. Hey again, good morning.
So I got to finish my joke now. I can't leave people hanging. Arkansas is the only state in the Bible. When the floods receded, Noah looked out over the ark and saw land.
The Atheist Round Table.
All right, peace out, Pasta. Love you.
Peace out.
Everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here and seeing Pasta Mike, the man of the hour, the sexiest voice in radio. Or show business. That's what I said. Stupid freaking radio. Anyway, I am working on some big names coming up, so do not miss out. I promise you're going to like it. They may not be as sexy sounding as Pasta Mike, but they'll be interesting nonetheless. Have a good week.
Brute facts. What you know about that? Brute facts. What you know about that? Brute facts. Man, what you know about that? Is your house with the most, not the most. Come incorrect in your toast. Hey Eddie, are you ready? That mic steady. It's about to get messy. Eddie, what it do, dog? Brute facts. What you know about that, Brute facts. What you know about that?